The hype that we give to these shutdowns is really so silly. It's one of the silliest things in modern politics, and I know that that's saying quite a lot. The media wants us to tremble in fear at the possibility of some portion of the government not operating for a few days, and in this case, it would be not operating over the holidays when it probably wouldn't be operating anyway, so it's even more ridiculous. 75%, in this case, 75% of the government is already funded. So the Pentagon has been funded, the Department of Health and Human Services has been funded, the Department of Labor, military pay most likely will not be affected. 75% of the government is funded. We're supposed to somehow be worried that 25% of the government may shut down for a limited number of days over the holidays. That's what we're supposed to be worried about. We're supposed to care about that for some reason. Why should we care about it? How is it going to affect any of our lives? I have no idea, because they never explain that part, because it won't affect us at all. I'm always embarrassed by the hand-wringing over government shutdowns, the panic. Now, not the panic on the part of most regular people, because we don't care, but the panic on the part of the media. What would our founding fathers say if they saw a government comprised of millions of people with a budget in the trillions of dollars, trillion, and yet rather than working towards permanently shutting down wide swaths of this monstrous behemoth, we instead are trying desperately to avoid shutting down even a small smidgen of it for a few days? Trillions of dollars. I know we hear these numbers a lot, billions, trillions, and it just kind of goes over our head. But the federal budget is something like 3 or 4 trillion dollars. Trillion, 1,000 billion, a billion, 1,000 times. Do you know how much a trillion is? Can you conceive of how much money $1 trillion is? If you were to make a stack of $1 trillion bills, just the one stack of $1 trillion would reach about a fourth of the way to the moon. That's 67,000 miles. Which means that the whole federal budget would literally reach the moon. If there was a guy sitting on the moon right now, and for some reason he needed a few bucks, we could easily get it to him. All we'd have to do is just stack the federal budget, $1 on top of another, and then it would reach him on the moon. He would just have to stand up and just grab a couple of the dollars. I'm not sure about the physics in that. I don't know if the physics really work out. It is a whole lot of money. The government is so massive that we can't even conceive of it. We can't even wrap our heads about it. We can't get our minds around it. It's reached a point of being so big that we don't even notice it anymore because the bigness is too much to comprehend. We're using these words that don't mean anything. When we hear $1 trillion, it may as well be, they may as well say the federal budget is a boogle smoogle dollars. It's a word that just means nothing though. $1 trillion doesn't mean anything because it's so much. But $1 trillion is a real number. It's a real concept, and the government is so wasteful that the word wasteful doesn't describe it. So, shut down? Yes, please. Shut down more than 25%. When Donald Trump said a few days ago that he's going to shut down the government, it was one of the greatest things that I've ever heard a president say. I think that statement alone was greater than the Gettysburg Address.